Various artistic images swirling through the sky. A person's body represented by a pile of books. Paintbrushes arranged in a rose blooming on a foot that's resting on a record. A torso with a camera for a head and a recorder for an arm. Raw Law. Your art, your rights. The logo for Arts Access Victoria.
Hi and welcome to Raw Law. My name's Stella and I want to get you thinking about your rights as an artist. If you're any kind of creative person, an artist, a performer or a musician, a filmmaker or a writer, this DVD will explain some important rights for you in plain English. There are a whole pile of laws out there that protect you and your work, but we're going to focus on three main areas: copyright, moral rights and agreements. Legal stuff can be hard to understand, so what we've done is made a few stories that show you what we're talking about. Let's start with copyright. You may have seen this symbol before, maybe on a CD or in a magazine. This is the copyright notice. In every artwork you make, in every performance, film, photograph, poem or song you hear, there is this thing called copyright. Copyright is something you own, something that is owned by you when you create something. Copyright protects you and the work that you make. So what does copyright mean? Copyright means people need your permission to do some things with your work, like copy it. Unless you're employed by someone to make artwork, you're the owner of copyright in your work.
A painting being signed.
So you have the power to say yes or no when someone asks to use your work for something.
This painting's by Matthew Clark.
As soon as you make your work, you own the copyright. You don't have to use the copyright symbol to get copyright. It just shows people who the copyright owner is. There are laws that protect you and your work. Remember that. Coming up next is a story from an artist friend of mine. This will show you what they call a copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is when someone does something with your work without your permission. Let's take a look.
Matthew's painting at an easel when a man with a camera comes into his studio and starts photographing his art. He even photographs Matthew working.
Hey, nice work.
Thanks.
Excuse me.
He photographs the painting next to Matthew.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
See ya.
On screen, the next day. The photographer comes in wearing a t-shirt with Matthew's painting on it.
What do you think?
He shows it to Matthew.
You didn't ask me you can do that.
Huh? Just a t-shirt.
What are you doing? You can't use my work without my permission.
Huh?
Matthew sighs.
Take it, I'll throw it in the bin, or else you'll be hearing from my lawyers.
The man walks out, taking off the t-shirt and throwing it in the bin as he goes. Matthew shakes his head.
So there you go. Can you believe that guy? Photographing and copying that painting without his permission? Which brings us to the next big thing, your moral rights. If you're a creative person, someone who makes art, works in theatre, music, films or writes, you have moral rights in relation to your work. Moral rights means two big things. First, that people know when you are the creator of a work. This is the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, painted nearly 500 years ago. If he made this artwork today, he'd have a right to have his name shown with his work. Moral rights also means that your work is not treated in a way that hurts your reputation, makes you look bad or feel upset. Moral rights are about keeping a connection between you and your work, like your name next to an artwork in an exhibition, or your name in the credits of a film, or having your name shown with any writing you've had published. If someone doesn't show your name with your artwork, or treats your work in a way that hurts your reputation, you can do something about it. Here's my artist friend again, in a bit of a pickle. Let's see how moral rights applies to him and his artwork.
A gallery showing his work without his name.
Hey Matthew, what do you think? Looks good, hey?
It really does look good. My name is not on the label.
Don't worry about it, I think it looks fine.
It's really important to have my name on my work.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
She sticks up a new label.
There you are, Matthew. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you for doing the right thing.
What do you reckon? Good thing he knew he had rights. Remember? Moral rights. Having his name next to his artwork protects his moral rights. So does speaking up about it. Now let's look at another example of moral rights, this time for a performer.
A theatre group.
Hi there. What do you think?
A poster for a play called Moral Dilemma, but only 2 of the 3 actors are featured on it. The actor who's missing from the poster looks upset.
This isn't good enough.
But it's just a poster.
I should be on the poster, goddammit.
Actually, you're right. You should be on the poster. I'll fix it.
The woman returns.
Have a look at this. I fixed it.
Oh no, that looks better.
Looks great.
It looks so cool.
She gives the thumbs up.
What nearly happened there is what you call an infringement of moral rights. It ended well, thank goodness, but only because she knew her rights. And she spoke up. It's important that if you reckon any of your rights as a performer are being infringed, you speak up. Talk to the director, or a friend, or someone you trust. Now let's look at number 3 on our chart-busting legal hit list, something important to all artists: agreements, otherwise known as contracts. A contract is like a promise between people. It's an understanding, a deal. Most often they're either written or spoken. You'll come across contracts in entry forms, say when you enter your work into a festival or competition, consent and release forms, when someone wants to show images of you or your work in public, studio agreements, funding agreements, gallery agreements. They're all over the place. But why are they important? Because they make sure that the other person or organisation you're working with will actually do what they say they will, especially when they're written on paper and signed by each person. Just make sure you understand what you're signing though. It's your right to have it written in simple words or in a way you can understand, like Braille or large print. Here's a quick example of what I'm talking about.
The theatre.
That was great. If you do that on opening night, it'll be a sellout. Ah, Robert, we're just rehearsing the first scene.
I'll grab my script.
Before we start, I need you to read through and sign this consent form.
He throws her a wary look as he takes it and glances through it.
I might show my friend before I sign.
He takes his friend aside.
So what it says is, they're going to film me in the show, then put it on the website. Are they going to have my name there as well?
Yes. See here it says you'll get a credit.
Okay, cool. I'll sign it then.
He signs the form and returns it to the director.
Here you go, all signed.
Great, Robert. Now we can get on with it.
He is so on the ball. The agreement was clear, it was balanced, it was straightforward. You've got to love that. Just remember though, make sure you understand an agreement before you sign it. Only make promises you can keep. Whatever the agreement is about, make sure that it's fair and protects you and your work. Ask a friend for help, or better still, get some legal advice. Knowing your rights as an artist is super important. Knowing also that your work is yours and that there are good laws to protect you as an artist is something you can't forget. That's what Raw Law is all about. If you want more information, you can either take a look at the Raw Law booklet or go to our website, or the Arts Law Centre of Australia. Just remember, your art, your rights.
Audio description by Red Bee Media Australia. Presenter Stella Young. Performers Shane McDonough, Ryan New, David Baker, Andrew Tresida, Michaela Elijnik, Fiona Cook, Rob Wellington. Directed by Rob Wellington. The content of this DVD is for your information only. This DVD is general, it should not be relied on as legal advice. Arts Access Victoria and the Arts Law Centre of Australia say you should see a qualified lawyer on legal issues affecting you before acting on any legal matter. Arts Access and Arts Law have tried to make sure that the information in this DVD is correct and complete, but they do not represent or warrant its correctness or completeness. Legal concepts and information have been simplified to make them accessible for people with disabilities. Arts Access and Arts Law are not responsible for any loss suffered as a result of or in relation to the use of this DVD or any of its content, and do not accept any liability for negligence, any loss or damages relating to the use of this DVD or any of its content. Information provided in this DVD in relation to a state or territory only applies to that state or territory. Arts Access Victoria, www.artsaccess.com.au.